One, two, three, go. All right. Good afternoon, YouTube. Or good morning. Today, we're going to be talking about the history of BMG kennels. Start out by saying I appreciate all my subscribers. I'm pleased to, my bad. I appreciate all the love from everybody who support my page. And let's dig on in it. All right, so this is about the history of BMG kennels. It ain't always been BMG kennels. When I first started out, I had about like, I had so many dogs. I was just young and dumb, but you know how that goes. You live and you learn. Yeah, I wasn't always called BMG Kennels. Took me until about like, well, I established it around 2022. I mean, my bad, 2020. That's my bad. Um, that's when I took it serious. I was like, I love these dogs. Whenever I'm able to get in a spot, or I'm able to have like a large yard, I give me a couple of dogs, and you know they turn out good. I'll keep them, feed them, let them puppy out, grow, and I start just discovering stuff with them. I'll say it like that. So, like I said, around about 2020, I took the kennel serious, in which is I had already came up with a name. I was like, well, I just add that plus my kennel. So I started off, I started off with the blue nose first, because it wasn't always about the dog. It's the owner. But it do matter what breed if you're looking for the prolong with the business. So I mean, I always been in the pits. I had a couple staffs too back then, but majority was like hardcore game dogs. Uh, the first ever bloodline I was familiar with was Chinaman. Got a lot of those dogs up there in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. That was the first time I ever became, familiar with a dog. The first dog I ever got familiar with was a pit bull. Um, and then, yeah, and then so let me see. I was probably about like 5 years old when my stepdaddy first, got a pit bull puppy. It was a Chinaman, all Chinaman dog. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was taking a shower, and my stepdad told me he had a present for me. He knocked on the door, told me when I come out, he got a present for me. I was like, all right. Um, got out, heard something scratching on the door. It was in the thing, and it was a puppy, man. Two nice puppies, actually. It was two of them. It was a girl and a boy, straight from Chinaman himself. But I wasn't too familiar with the dogs back then. 6 years old, you know what I'm saying? I was just a kid. I was just happy it was a puppy. So, boom, I grow old, you know, teenage years, messing with the dogs, had good ones, got rid of them, just being young and dumb, didn't know what I had. Had a couple of them too, a couple different bloodlines. Red Boy, Chinaman. The first dogs I came to South Carolina with was Chinaman. Not Chinaman himself, but dogs that was descended. I mean, blood. The bloodline from Chinaman. I came down here with offspring from his blood. So get down here, I met a couple of guys. I started, getting more into the dogs. left around probably about like 2016. Went back to North Carolina because I ended up getting rid of the dogs, being young and dumb, just learning. Went back to North Carolina, met a local breeder in North Carolina, and this time I ran into some um you could say half breeds mutts, but it was like established mutt. Um it was American Bulldog with American Staff and some Shar Pei. And the best, like they turn out to be some nice hunt dogs. Like some of the hardest biting dogs I ever seen. Some nice hunting dogs. Some great. But I had to, I had to branch out to something more realistic after a while, learning more about it. And I lost, I kind of lost contact with it once I started like having my kids, making my kids. I kind of lost contact with it. Um, and give me one moment. All right, yeah. And so, I lost track of the dogs. I had a couple of dogs, but I wasn't into it. So, like I said, 2020 came. I get into the dogs. I get my first dog. Boom. It was Ghost. Well, no, it was the blue. Then didn't like the blue. It was nice. It was a nice dog, but I didn't like it. It was a more like staffy, like bully staffy. Like didn't like that because I'm more into the working dog. So boom, it's on Facebook. Seen a reputable breeder, and I said, "Do you have a male?" She said, "Yeah." I asked what the bloodline was. Told me Red Boy and Gator, alligator to be exact. So all right, I get the dog. I get the puppy. Um, nice puppy. End up telling my homie, he ended up purchasing a puppy, which is the sister. Got the sister. So we raised them up. Going down the line, I ended up meeting a good guy. That's when I purchased my female, great dog. And he been in the game probably 20, 40 years with his blood that he was running and that was working for him. And I met the guy. My first time ever seeing him, I didn't even know he had dogs. I'm not gonna mention his name, just for the simple fact of, just addressing him. I know some people like to be low key, underground. So ran into him dumping some trash when I used to work for this little local seafood spot down here in Lake City, South Carolina. Um, we chopped it up, and never did I expect it. Oh, this man got some, you know. So later on down the line, I was working, working there. I was doing some maintenance. Then money kind of, my things just started, going up for me. So I had needed a better paying job, and I started working for the city, you know, got that job, and that was paying me pretty good. And then lo and behold, the guy that I met working at the other job, he was working for the city. So me and him chopped it up, and I was showing him my puppy one day. Was like, yeah, man, you got a good looking, good looking puppy. It's like, yeah, man, come off some decent stuff. So okay, I'm looking at my battery here. Make sure it don't go down. I got time to play, time to talk, So me gonna start chopping it up, you know, and showed him the dog, showed him my puppy. He was like, "Oh yeah, he's a good looking dog." He you know what I'm saying, he had some. I was like, "For real?" He was like, "Yeah." Said I've been working dogs for years. He was like, I was running some dogs for years, not just you know pits, but rabbit dogs, just other. But what we was talking about was morely the pits, the bloodline he had, and we chopped it up. We built us a nice relationship between me and him, and with the started talking, talking more about dogs, started coaching me a little bit more, and he was like, I got some pretty good puppies, some pretty decent puppies, that just hit the ground not too long ago, and they was a little bit behind ghosting them, you know, so it kind of like leveled out about right, so I was like, you know what, and at this time I had a studio apartment, so I kept them inside. Um, he was like, I tell you what, I'll work out something with you. And because I guess trying to get some of them off, but he was trying to get some of the best genetics to some of the best people. I mean, so, to some of the, I guess you would say, people that he could have trust. So I guess that's why he was like, kind of like, I guess trying to figure me out, observe me the whole time that I didn't know. But yeah, it was like, I want to give you a piece of my history of my working line, and I want to introduce your half with that, and maybe we can throw out some of that back in the day, them back in the day looking dogs, acting dogs, looking dogs, performing dogs. And I was like, you know what? I was like, yeah. And I was like, so what you what kind of bloodline do you hold? And he broke down to me like his people used to work for Tance back in the day, David Tance. Um, and he was like, he had a little bit of debt on the yard from then, and over the years he did what he did with it, and he had his own bloodline of dogs, but it not own bloodline, but his own side of the, I guess, a piece of his piece of the cake, I'm gonna just say. And he had the heavy Lapasi stuff on the top, and the Eli Jeep Red Boy on the bottom, but mostly it was the Eli Jeep Red Boy had kind of like, was just docile in it, but he was like, I want to give you a piece of what I've been working on, my project, what I've been working on for these years, and I want you to put it on, like, I want you to basically, he gave me the best genetics so I could basically start my own class of the bloodline of what I want to come out with at the end when the process is done. It's not overnight, it take years, it take blood, sweat, and tears sometimes, and hard work with these dogs. Sometimes it could be, it can be drastic out here with these dogs. Not even with just the dogs. Period. The game, the game that these people have nowadays with pets. All this is just, it makes it hard for you to maneuver through the fate when you are honest. When you're an honest person and the dogs don't really ain't what make your money, like they're really much of nothing. When really you just want them to go out to a good home and somebody who respect the bloodline like you do, you you really tend to you don't make as much money as a person who just don't, a person who don't care and just really willing to sell to anybody. It's just that's the difference, that's the difference between me and a lot of these guys. I'm not I'm not in it for the money. I want to make the best. The best. I don't want the money. If I could, I'd keep them all. But I want to produce the best, and I want to make history. I want to say like Chico Lopez. Chico Lopez. He, I respect him. I respect him, just because it's more so about like with him, with me. It's not about it's not about the money. It's about the correct people. The correct people getting these dogs and your name living, you know, and the bloodline, the productivity, and the drive, the gameness. We want that to